Hi, this is Dave Chenault with Skylight Systems, and in this final video on assigning security profiles in Sidekick 365 XRM, the Enterprise Edition, I want to explore a little bit about what happens with users that belong to that special group we set up called the XRM Permission Owners, and take a look at what they can see, and also just do a little more explanation and exploring around what happens when you add different users into different groups within the SharePoint site that hosts Sidekick 365. So let's start off by looking at the administrative login capabilities. I'm an admin in the system, and I've gone to accounts, and I can see here that I've got 4 different accounts currently in the system. 2 of them have a profile of Alan S. 1 has no profile, and then 1 has this new profile David S on it. And let's just take a quick look at those profiles to see what they look like. So I can see I've got some different groups set up. As you'll recall, in the first part of this video series, we set up SharePoint groups for read and edit for each of these security profiles. So now you're going to see that I have 4 groups set up as SharePoint groups. I've got an Alan S read, Alan S edit up in this profile for Alan S, and I also have SharePoint groups David S read and David S edit in the David S profile. And these profiles are assigned to different accounts. So we'll go take a look at the account again, and you'll see account 9 has the David S security profile, and these account 1 and 2 have the Alan S. Account 5 has nothing on it. Okay, now let's also go in and take a look real quick at the XRM Permission Owners group and see who belongs to that group. And that's that special group we talked about that lets you go in and assign security profiles to different items in the system and create them. So let's go into our site settings, and we'll look at the people in the groups, and we're going to look at who's a member of that XRM Permission Owners group. And what you'll see is there's a number of people in here now. I've got Alan and Alicia, David So, and a guy named Eric Gruber. So we have different people in here. But the important part of this discussion is that just because you belong to this Permission Owners group doesn't give you permissions to see all of the items with security permissions assigned in the system. You have to be a member of either the edit or the read group associated with each of those profiles, or you've got to be the admin for the site. And let's take a quick look at this. Let's go into Alan S edit and see who belongs to that. So here we've just got Alan Steiner, Amy Alberts, and then the admin as well. Now we also set up some other groups. Let's look at the David S edit and see who belongs to that. Same people. We've actually got David So. I added him because he's the owner of that security profile group. And this is the important point here. It makes sure that you add in the person that owns that account, contact, or opportunity into the edit group so they can get into the items that they own and that they're associated with. So you'll notice when I have these different edit groups and I have them with a profile, I've got the owner of that group also assigned into that edit group that we set up. So I hope all that made sense. Let's go in and take a look real quick at how some of this looks when you log into the system using different credentials. I'm going to go in as this guy David S and see what he can see. Okay? And if you remember, there were 4 different accounts in the system. So let's go in as David S now and take a look at what he can see and get an understanding of why he's seeing what he sees. So I'm going to go ahead and log in. Bear with me a second while I put his credentials in. I want to get out of this one here. Bear with me a second. Let's log out of Amy Alberts and then go in as David S. And you have to close the browser session to do this. So it'll be just a moment here. Let's sign out. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure to close that window. Now when I open up the private, it's going to go ahead and ask me for credentials. So here we go. And now I'm going to go in as David S. Okay. Now let's go take a look at the accounts that he has access to. Remember, he's part of the XRM Permission Owners group, so he can assign permissions. But when I go into the accounts, I'm going to see that he only sees two accounts. Account 5, which has no profile, and account 9 that has his profile associated. So if you'll remember, there was two other accounts with an Alan S profile attached, but he has not been added as a member of that edit or read group in the Alan S profile groups. So if he doesn't belong to those, he's not going to see anything with that profile on it, even though he belongs to the XRM Permission Owners group. That XRM Permission Owners group is really used to let you assign permissions. And so what you'll see is that he can assign different profiles because he has been added to that XRM Owners group. It's called XRM Permission Owners with full control. But it doesn't mean he can see everything. He has to be explicitly given permissions to do that. Okay, so I hope all that made sense. Now, interestingly enough, I added Amy as part of the edit group for both the Alan S profile and the David S profile. So let's go and log out of this system and go in now as Amy and see what she can see. What I expect is that she'll see all four accounts because she has permissions in both of the security profiles, as well as that one account that wasn't given any profile at all. So let's go ahead and close this down. Now I'm going to go in as Amy and see what she can see. So just popping over here to the new screen. And I'll log in as Amy now. So here we go. And now I'll come in with her password. Now let's go take a look at what she sees in the account list. So coming in again to the app and going to the accounts, she sees all four. And that's because she's a member of the edit group associated with Alan S profile and David S profile. So you see, she actually sees more than someone that belongs to the XRM Permissions Owners, David S. And this is the whole point of this video. It's to really drive home that you need to explicitly add in users to either the edit or the read group if you assign permissions using one of the profiles, right? If you don't add in that user, even if they're the owner, they're not going to see it, right? If I didn't add in Alan S to the edit or David S to his edit, he wouldn't even see it when he comes in. So it's very important that you understand this concept. Of course, the site administrator can see everything, but it's extremely powerful. It lets you scale up. We've had customers with literally hundreds and hundreds of users using this schema and many different offices, and it really scales well. It lets you manage very complex organizations across many different districts and product lines and companies because you have this ability to block out what people can see. And this also applies on searching. Unless you've been given the permission to see the item, when you do a search up here in search, you will not see it. It won't suddenly appear in the search results. So again, I hope all this clarified a little bit how these permissions work with the security profile. And the key points are, make sure you add in the people that can manage these profiles and assign them to different accounts, contacts, and opportunities by adding those people to the group we call XRM Permission Owners, and that's a full control group. And then make sure you give people access to these items that you assign the security profiles, either by adding them to the edit group that you set up in SharePoint for that profile, or the read group you set up for that profile. All right, this is Dave Chenault with Skylight Systems. If you have any questions, go ahead and shoot me an email at info@skylightsystems.com, and that's SKYLITESYSTEMS.com. And also take a look for the app. It's Sidekick 365 XRM Enterprise up in the marketplace that Microsoft has set up. Download a free trial and let us know if you have any questions. We'll look forward to working with you.